I'm okay with anybody being heartless. At least I know where you're coming from, right? I think it is distasteful for people to celebrate Charlie Kirk for doing or saying some of the same things that Dr. Umar says in retrospect. It's the exact same thing. It's just the polar opposite. It's a black man saying certain things. I know some people like Dr. Umar don't hate people and Dr. Umar don't spit. So he is sharing certain things that Dr. Umar has said is the exact same things that Charlie Kirk has said. The only thing is this flip-flop. Is white to black, black to white. That's how I looked at it. So I'm going to call this pod Conflictions. This is the Conflictions pod today. Man. Another week. Back to back. The repeats going back to back. You know what I mean? Welcome to another episode of the Mad Lucrative Podcast. I'm your host, the one and only Magnedo7 in the building. I'm here. Listen, this episode is brought to you by Safe Tire. If you need some oil changes, you need some brakes, you need some tires, you need what's the other little thing that's on the back of the wheel? I think it's called the wheel bearing, all that stuff. Go over to Safe Tire. Go ahead, tell them Unc sent you from the Mad Lucrative Podcast. Go over there and get your car worked on me. Well, no, not on me, because I'm not gonna pay for this. Y'all gotta pay for your own stuff. But go over there and holler at them anyway. Listen, I just did a pre-show. Everybody on not everybody. We're gonna single one person out. We're not gonna say everybody on Patreon. There's one person on Patreon. Tatiana, hey girl. I told her, I said, this is like your own private little group. Like no one's over here just yet. So anyway, I do have an album. I didn't tell you I have an album out. I have a project out, right? And this is what I call a collaborative album. So I'll break down some more of the details towards the end of the pod because I don't want to take all of this time up for me. We got some real serious stuff to talk about. So first off, hopefully everybody's week is good. We're going to start with something pretty fun. And not pretty fun. Y'all know I live in Atlanta. And I might make this a short show because I think when I start going long-winded, then I start just saying stuff that I should not be saying. And then it's just like, all right, bro, like, I hate you now. Actually, I don't want nobody to hate me. You know what I mean? But I'm an equal opportunity person. And everybody has their day at the table. I'll say that. Everybody has their day at the table and everybody has something to answer for. And I know we all think we about to go, but we got a lot of places to go today. So let's start with Atlanta. We down here in Atlanta. We're down here in Atlanta. All right. And I was trying to get one of my hood constituents. I was trying to get one of my hood constituents to actually stop by the studio and break down this whole Young Thug and all this stuff, right? Because we covered the whole Rico case when they were going to court. We covered when Gunna quote unquote snitched. I have a whole different perspective when it comes to snitching. I'm sorry. I have a different perspective when it comes to snitching. I am a 41-year-old man. I have to always preface that by saying I'm a 41-year-old man. That does not mean I don't stand on business. I do stand on business. I stand on business. Is very few things that people are going to get by me, right? I do stand on business. But this is the thing. If you have an illegal operation, and this is the exact same reason why I would get mad at the OnlyFans girls and the hood dudes that's out here trapping, and then they got their hand in their pants. It's like, I know what you got. But pause. This sounds crazy. I know, like I was say, I know what you got in the pants. No, not like that. But I know. I was saying, no, you got that stick. Can't say that either. Puff has messed everything up. I know that they are normally holding an assault rifle or something. I know they got something, right? I know they got something going on. Wherein, if you do that and you do that to them, then it's going to be a lot of jail time that's involved. And this is something else I noticed. We talked about this before, and I don't mind sharing, because sharing is caring. How about that? But I remember it was a lot of times where I would be, let's say, LA or New York. Those are like the hot spots when it came to doing a lot of production. In Atlanta, I probably was more calm by then. By the time we hit Atlanta, it was like, yo, it's time for me just to chill. All of that illegal activity, I know what that looks like because I've been around it the majority of my life. And yeah, I'm good on that, right? So what I will notice, and this is where I think the lines start to get blurred, because we are gonna dig in on big bank conversation with Thug. We got to get on it. Listen, I couldn't run to the podcast fast enough. I said, I gotta get in front of the camera. I got something to say. I felt like Andre 3000 at the Source Awards. Hey, the A got something to say. We got something to say. But anyway, we're going to go before that. My experience in music business was whatever the artist has, especially if it's one of those artists that's higher up on the tier, whatever the artist said that they wanted to get, I need y'all to have that in the studio for them. And they would put it on something called the rider. The rider consisted of everything. Y'all know, y'all seen Mariah Carey, and they say how she only wants green M&Ms, like real specific things. Or you would look at what's the Diesel dude now that got famous for the Saratoga bottle? I can't remember his name. I think Derek or something, whatever his name is. They get these things put on the rider because this is a certain thing that I said I need this for me to function on my job. My rider is very, very basic. I'm just like, yo, let me get some water. Yeah, I got some water. Maybe some horse divers. This is hors d'oeuvres. Maybe some horse divers. And some of y'all were mad at this. Yo, Curtis, somebody was mad at me because I said I don't correct people when they say something the wrong way. I think having them say it the wrong way is way more entertaining. That's how I look at it. If I let you say horse divers and we're in a room full of millionaires, I am laughing. And my hood friend gonna be like, why you laughing, bro? I'm like, ain't nothing. It's just a horse diver. But it's hors d'oeuvres. This horse diver. Go ahead, just say it, bro. It's cool. I'm gonna let the joke keep going. But anyway, when you go to certain studios or clubs or these different speaking engagements, whatever, you have something called a rider. The label or the person that booked you is normally in charge of getting that rider together, wherein everything just works smoothly. Because you said you needed this to do your job. I'm going to make sure you have that so you do your job to the best of your ability. Cool. Well, the thing is this. This is the thing. When you have a rider and it consists of syrup, or you have a rider and it consists of 1,000 ones, because we're going to go to the strip club. This stuff really happens too. I'm not just saying stuff. This is what really happens in music business, right? I need to make sure we got 5 bottles of Hennessy. We need some chicken wings, and I need 1,000 ones at the strip club. Guess what? The strip club is going to have all of that stuff for the person, the artist, whatever. They're going to have that there for them, so that in retrospect, they're going to throw all of this money. Everybody's going to see the rapper in the booth throwing all this money. He's going to see him eating wings. They're going to see him with all these bottles. The average person that's in the club is going to say, oh, okay, they're up there balling. They're going crazy. They don't know that the club pays you to do all of this stuff. And the reason the club pays you to do this is because when other people that you might consider a peon sees you doing that, they're going to now spend all of their real money and do the same thing that you are doing. That is industry clubbing 101. When it comes to somebody saying, yo, every time I went to the club, they song ring off. That joint be going crazy. Every time I go, that was paid for. That was not just me spinning a record in the club off of just for the hell of it. No, somebody's A&R or somebody's manager came in there, paid the DJ a certain amount of money to get the record. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm talking too much. See, snitching culture. Snitch culture. I believe in snitching. Snitching is good. So when you know that all of these things exist, and that's the caveat behind certain artists getting put on, then you start to hear people like Thug's interview from a different perspective. That's where we're going. That's what you start hearing. You hear certain accounts of how he views things in it from a different perspective. From a different perspective. Tatiana said, "You see, yes, I'm snitching." Okay, snitching is okay. I'm trying to, and look, I try to play both sides so I can find the good and bad in snitching. I can't find the bad in snitching. I'm sorry, because the way I look at it is this. I look at it like this. If you did something illegal, and everybody saw it, and everybody's scared to say what you did, and this one person said, "Yeah, he did it," then they go get them a bagel. They go to Starbucks, go get in front of their laptop, and it just start working. They say, "Oh yeah," and the police gonna come to them in Starbucks. They gonna say, "Did you see somebody do da da da?" They're like, "Yeah, he did it," because they're not a part of no street culture. They're not a part of the street culture. There's no street stuff. So anyway, I did have a few clips that I wanted to bring out because I think that this Big Bank interview with Young Thug had me. I don't know. I think as a man, I could see the pain and I could see the hurt in a lot of the stuff that he was saying. But then it was weird. Maybe I don't even have to bring up no clips because I watched that interview like maybe 2 times and it was a really, really good interview. But what I saw was this. I saw a man that was doing an interview that was being transparent, that was being vulnerable, that was sharing. And this is the funny thing is this. Everybody keeps talking about mental health and men's mental health and mental health awareness. But this is what it looks like. Honestly, this is what it looks like. I think the whack thing is, and this is, this is exactly why I get mad at the people that do the counterproductive things in society. And then on the back end, they say, well, nah, he ain't a real one. No, he's not a real. Anybody that gets put up in a cell and they say you're going to spend 30 years in this cell and I'm going to give you, I don't know how many hours it is a day that they get out the cell, but let's say 2 hours or 4 hours a day. They say if you get 4 hours a day out of the cell, that is inhumane. You wouldn't even do that to your dog. So this is how I look at it. Okay, if that is a potential ending, if that's a potential end result from this nasty thing that I do in society, you would have to be forced to do certain things, right? So it was one part of the interview that, what's up? I see somebody right here, but what's up? It was one part of the interview with Young Thug, and he was talking about how he had to wear his sister's clothes, and his sister almost had to pretty much just drop out of school so people wouldn't be like, okay, she wore that 2 weeks ago. Think about it like this. Think of the psychology that goes into that situation. You're wearing your sister's clothes because you have so many siblings and everybody's broke. Your initial you were excited when you saw, I think he said when he saw fights or whatever, it was something. Certain things are normal, or we make certain things normal when you grow up in a certain economic status. When you grow up in, I don't even like to say hood, because sometimes there are people in the hood that's way more smarter than the board member that controls these different stocks and shares and all this stuff. It's certain people in the hood, when I tell you, they have the ability to break everything down on a minute level, when us people that normally just analyze the analytics and we look at engagement and we look at all this stuff, we look at the business model. It is certain people in the hood that can identify, they say, oh, that is a spoon. And when I tell you, and when I'm saying it like that, it's like they have the ability to simplify things on their level, where we normally don't have the ability to simplify it because we have all of this information in our head. A hood, And I wish I could say some names because it's more so like I'm shouting them out, but I don't want to put. I know the type of dude he is. He don't want to be. He don't want. He don't want to be mentioned on camera. He don't ever want to be seen on camera. He like, hey, bro, I love that podcast issue doing, big dog. I don't want to. Nah, don't mention me, bro. Just know, hey, you can have that, all right? But I have a certain friend, that's from down here in Atlanta, and when I tell you, this dude is so freaking smart. He could recite certain poems and I can't remember the name of it, but he has all of this information in his head, like a historian from the hood, historian. And he was telling me, he said, yo, dude, he said, the thing about this Thug ish, what you don't realize is them boys been wreaking havoc for years. I was like, oh, look, me like a little chatty patty. Tell me more. I said, tell me more. He said, well, it maybe not necessarily Thug, but it is certain people that's associated in music business. They just they move a certain way. Whoop de whoop de whoop. What's the thing that Thug was saying? Whoop de doo. He's like, yo, it's certain things that happens in Atlanta that's just it's just how the culture of Atlanta. And he's from here. So he's seen everything develop from the 80s all the way up to now, and he's pinpointing like, yeah, when this happened, and the media or people outside of Atlanta, y'all knew it as this, but this is what it really was. And then I was like, oh, I see. And he said, yeah, with the Gucci thing, and then I said, okay, cool. So when it came to this Thug interview, I felt like it was necessary for him to sit with somebody that was not only from the streets, but somebody that was that knew how to do media. I think, matter of fact, let me give Big Bank a clap, because Big Bank did a master class. Big Bank did a master class. If y'all haven't watched it, I know I shouldn't be promoting other people's podcasts on this one, but y'all go watch the interview and then come back to me and tell me what you think. But Big Bank goes in and he's breaking it down from, okay, how was childhood for you? What was the first time you felt pain? What was the first time you felt neglected? And he was hitting like, bow, wow. I was like, ooh. But he's doing it in a hood perspective tone type of way. So I said, I love this. And the whole situation with Thug and Gunna. All right. This is what I gather. And this is for all of the outsiders, because I got a lot of white people that follow me. So all my white folk, I know y'all my cousins, right? I call y'all my cousins. But for y'all that don't understand and y'all just want to write off Thug as being this just hood rat and hoodlum and all, there are reasons for certain things. Now, I'm not making an excuse. I'll say that first off. I'm not making an excuse for Thug and whatever they may have done or not done. I'm not making up an excuse, but I will say there are reasons for certain things happening. I know a lot of people like to dig into slavery and oppression and reparations, and also we're not even going all that far. We're not going that far. I'm just saying that there are certain traumas that happen that shape the way we view certain things. So I saw Thug talk about why he felt betrayed by Gunna, and he had invested all this money in Gunna, and then when Gunna takes the plea. First off, and this is the funny thing, I did hear a certain tone in Thug's voice where he was saying, yeah, Gunna took the plea, and he was the first one that took the plea, and I can't stand the fact that he took the plea. Right? I got that. That was cool. But then the flip side of that was, okay, Gunna took the plea and he got out of jail and he didn't go visit my mom and them and try to get them straight with some of the bread, because, all of my accounts is frozen. And that was the part that I heard that he was the most pissed off about, right? And he was just saying it ain't G, whatever, right? Cool. All right, I get that. Another conflicting thought between Thug and Gunna was when he was saying that Gunna was never, he worked with Gunna's dad, but Gunna was never a street dude. when Gunna's dad died, he told Gunna's dad, "Yo, I'm gonna take care of him. You know, don't worry about it. I'm gonna bring him wherever I go." Right? That let me know off the rip. You should not have done certain things around Gunna, or because I'm not trying to accuse anybody of nothing. You shouldn't have done certain things around Gunna, or you shouldn't have invited him to certain parties that he wasn't equipped to be in. And I'm saying parties, but I'm talking about other stuff. But he should not have been invited to certain parties that he wasn't equipped to be in. So therefore, it sounds like Gunna's kind of like me. It's like, yo, I'm telling. He been in jail eating them little ramen noodles. Do you want to take a plea? Yes. Are you sure? So these are the conditions of the plea. Now, you ain't got to read it. Yes. Did they do it? Yes, they did. That's because he's not from that ilk. He's not from that culture. And this is another thing, and I got to get to some more subjects, but this is another thing that I pulled out. I don't think it is okay for hood people, hood dudes, hood business owners, street pharmacists. I don't think it's okay for them to sign certain people and subject them to a certain culture that the person's not equipped to be in. Case in point. I could talk about it because it's a freaking TV show by now. It's a TV show. But I remember when they were talking about Big Meech and BMF and everything in the city, and they were saying, yo, well, with BMF, they came down here and went crazy. They were going in the strip club. They were spending money, getting money, showing off the money. That was the whole concept of BMF, all right? Well, in the event that you come and create a legitimate business, now it is time to get out of the street business. It is time to get out. And I think that a lot of people get engulfed into that space because it's easy. And I'm not calling y'all lazy. I'm not calling you lazy, but that it sounds like a lazy, easy move. If I'm used to selling drugs and that is my primary source of income, at some point, okay, it's just like working on floors. That's a good example. Very good example. It's like working on flooring. You go into a house and let's say the first floor you go in and you make $2,000. You say, yo, I just made $2,000 today. And you put the clap, you hit the folk with the clap like this. I did it. We made it. Right? You make the $2,000 in one day. Then the next day comes around. You know how your legs and your back felt after doing them floors. More than likely, if you keep doing that for the next 3 to 5 to 10 years, you're going to have some real issues with your vertebrae, your back, your knees. It's going to be some issues if you continue doing the same thing over and over. Therefore, you have to change the business, or you have to change the way you're doing certain businesses, right? I think street hood pharmacists, they got to change it up. They got to change it up, man. And I hate the fact that everybody is so freaking smart. Everybody knows how to move and know accounts receivables and knows how to. Everybody knows inventory and stock. Like, Lord Jesus, I wish I could just mentor like a few street pharmacists in one day. There's probably all it'll take them is one mentor per, like just one time, because they have everything, even the idea of SOPs, standard operating procedures. They know so much of this stuff. And I just be like, yo, why are y'all opting in for the easy route? That is the lazy way to do it. So look, all right. Of course, we got to talk about Charlie Kirk. We got to talk about him. And this is where I'm starting to get conflicted. I'm gonna call this pod Conflictions. This is the Conflictions pod today. Because it's more about Thug that I wanted to talk, but I ain't gonna make the whole. I'm already 30 minutes in. All right, so R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I will give him a clap because he deserves it. Now, under the contingencies that he deserves a clap. Now we gotta start talking. But I got a few videos that I want to bring up. The first thing is this. I think I said it in my stories. As soon as I saw Charlie Kirk get shot, I was like, he ain't gonna make that. He ain't gonna make that. Anybody that knows anything about firearms or any of that stuff, you know, if a certain thing happens a certain type of way and they nick a certain artery, it's over. Unless you know somebody that is like a doctor that's been in the space of operating on victims. You have to have a very specific person around you that knows how to deal with that stuff, right? So when the shot happened, and it sounds gory, but as much blood that came out, I say it's over. It's over. Unfortunately. So this is a thing though, and this is where I kind of got to be I kind of got to play both sides, because when I first said that, and then maybe 10 minutes later or 20 minutes later, they pronounced them dead. I said, okay, I was right. Unfortunately, and that's why I posted in my the little story things. I was right. Listen, okay, and then we're gonna get back to Charlie. But this is something I want all my content creators to understand, right? Everything that we do online is up for grabs. Everything that we do online is up for grabs. When they give you, and I say they loosely, and y'all have to just put two and two together, but when they give you a certain platform and they say, we want y'all to come participate on this platform and we want y'all to give a certain amount of IP, because that's what you're doing, and you keep doing certain things. If you say, let's say it's a very specific saying, like whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-doo, right? Thug did that. Everybody has heard somebody say whoop-de-doo. Like, we're grown adults here. Everybody has heard somebody say that. Well, in IP world, it's different. In IP world, if I hear somebody say whoop-de-doo and it starts to go viral, as an IP genius or as a business owner, I'm going to go look at the Trademarks Commission, and I'm going to go look at copyrights, and I'm going to go look at all these things and say, oh, does anybody own whoop-de-whoop or whoop-de-doo? This is how they look at it. That phrase went viral. Does anybody own that phrase? Oh, they don't own it. And then they patented, trademark it, and they own the phrase. So therefore, when people use it, now they can send a cease and desist order and say, hey, that's mine. Let me get that. Come off of that. One-on-one. I'm just giving y'all some game. Also, when it comes to those little banners that's on the stories and they say, well, how are you feeling today? What's your mood? What's your feeling? Those are not just what's your mood, what's your feelings. They're running analytics tests on everybody that's posting on those. So whenever y'all give up some real good sauce, be okay with them taking it and monetizing it, because you're only going to get a small piece of it. That's why I'm very selective. That's why I have Patreon. Ta-da! That's why I do what I do. Everything I do has intentionality. I don't just do anything by happenstance. It's on purpose. But anyway, back to Charlie Kirk. I have seen some clips with him speaking on certain things, and where a certain part of me is okay with anybody being heartless. Again, I'll say that I'm okay with anybody being heartless. At least I know where you're coming from, right? I think it's distasteful for people to celebrate Charlie Kirk for doing or saying some of the same things that Dr. Umar says in retrospect. It's the exact same thing. It's just the polar opposite. It's a black man saying certain things. I know some people like, Dr. Umar don't hate people and Dr. Umar don't spit. So he is sharing certain things that Dr. Umar has said is the exact same things that Charlie Kirk has said. The only thing is it's flip-flop. It's white to black, black to white. That's how I looked at it. So when it came to people trying to pretty much piss on his name and say, well, nah, F him. He did all of this. He said all of this, and that's what he getting. Well, it's two sides to this. It's always two sides. And I want us to be very selective in how we judge people. I think that is my concern. I think we are now in the space, and I would say the U.S., but I think it's worldwide by now. But we're in a space where everybody does so many things for the click. And I was about to make it nasty. But everybody's doing certain things for the click. They want the views, they want the engagement, they want to monetize, there is no heart and there is no care for other people. And again, I'm okay. I'm okay with people being heartless. I'm okay with people judging. I'm okay with people having freedom of speech. But when you start to take people's life because they have a certain opinion, that's where I got an issue. That's where I got an issue. When you start doing stuff, and case in point, and this one clip, and I got like two clips because his wife just posted something. I wanted to at least share some of that, and then we're going to start wrapping it up. But I saw so many folk that was like, even the TMZ clips. Somebody sent me a TMZ clip where they were trying to get all of the edits together so they could start getting it on TV. And I think they're editing like on a 30-minute, like it's just crazy. They got a different schedule over there. But as soon as they pronounce that man dead, there are staff members at TMZ clapping. What the F? And this is the thing. I can only control how I view certain things. I can only control my personal response. I don't look for people to agree with my perspectives. Right? That's how I look at it. I don't look for people to agree with my perspectives. And I think when you're in content world, or content is a part of your business, you have to be okay with scrutinization. You have to be okay with being able to speak your piece, right? But now I'm gonna say this, and this is where I say the confliction comes. If you speak your piece and your piece consists of hate on a certain group of people, then there might be consequences. There might be consequences. Now, where I don't agree that anybody deserves to die or pass away as a result of them having freedom of speech, there are certain things, like I said, folk are not going to pardon your bad call of judgment by not being able to control your mouth. Folk ain't gonna okay that. They're not. So again, there are a lot of caveats that exist in this one case, but it's not cool. It's not cool. This is a guy, I think CEO Matty J actually posted this clip, and I thought it was interesting because I didn't think about it from this perspective. And again, I'm okay with people having perspectives. I think as soon as you lose perspectives, then we have an issue. As soon as you lose perspectives, we got an issue now, because now you're trying to isolate your opinion and you're trying to make your opinion the law, and you're trying to make the way you view things the law, right? But anyway, everybody deserves to have a voice, right? Now, whether they deserve an audience for the voice, now it starts getting a little sketchy. Whether you have an audience for the voice, that's a different conversation. But everybody deserves to have a voice, right? So it's never okay to 86 somebody because you just don't agree with their perspectives. But when it comes to this whole situation, I don't even know if it's in the Bible. It's the eye for an eye, right? I don't even know if that's in the Bible, but it's like this. If you know off the rip that you don't care about a certain group of people, you can't expect everybody to show grief or mourn. Everybody does not care. I'm going to just let everybody know that. Listen, if you are watching this on playback, if you think that you deserve people to care about your life and you deserve people to care about your existence, everybody don't care. Matter of fact, I would say more people don't care than that do. And as soon as we can put that put that perspective in our brain, the better off we'll be. Nobody cares about your existence. Nobody cares about your job. Nobody cares about your winning. Nobody cares about you being a loser. Nobody cares. As soon as we can embody that concept, I think we'll be better off. We'll be better off because I think everybody's looking for some type of validation out of certain relationships, and you want people to validate certain moves that you're making. No, don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. And then this is the scary part. And this is the stuff that I kind of have to keep a watch on. As soon as people do start caring and you start building the audience, there's a certain weight that comes along with that. Let that sink in. As soon as you start to build the audience and you get a massive group of people to start following you. I think Charlie Kirk had 11 million followers and like he was doing numbers. So this is what I would say. As soon as you start having people to start following you and you're quote unquote influencing them, what are you influencing them to do? Just think about this thing. What are you encouraging people to do? And then what are all of the benefits or what are all of the benefits or all of the downfalls of people caring? Because there is a certain downside to people caring about your existence and you influencing them. Let's say this. And this is Mr. Maker Home says, nobody cares about you being a loser. It's crazy. They don't care. They don't care. But look at it like this. All right. So if I've influenced all of these people, and y'all know my platform is all about business, musicians becoming business people and flourishing financially and being able to survive and buy houses. Like that's my platform. That's what I'm influencing people to do. Right. It's something that's good for them. But as soon as you say, let's say this, and I want to use Charlie Kirk as an example. I'm going to use him as an example. Let's say he's used all of these certain perspectives and ostracize certain groups of people, and it makes these people hate him, right? The group of people, like even his take on certain, I ain't going to talk about that because this ain't that type of pod, but certain beliefs that he has is super right-sided, right? All right, cool. That's what you do. But when you start to say certain things like, we deserve a certain amount of deaths per year or something like that. As soon as you say something like that and you've influenced, again, influencing can be for the best or for the worst. If you've influenced all of these people to start following you and they love your platform, and that is the narrative that you continue to spread over and over. Yeah, we need a certain amount of deaths per year. We needed a Okay, cool. Well, what happens when you've influenced certain people and you got a cuckoo in the bunch? Because we all got them. Like, it just happens. You got a cuckoo in a bunch that's a super extremist. And they say, all right, well, cool. Guess what? You said we need a certain amount of deaths per year. He said, he been saying it over and over. You know what? I guess it's your turn. It's your turn. And those people exist in every facet of life. You might have a person that's a sniper, that has the background of a sniper because you've been in the military or whatever. Well, what happens if that person gets a hold of that type of information and you've influenced them? All right, well, cool. Yeah, you're it today because I didn't like what you said on your last live. And this is the thing. Everybody has a certain gift. Everybody has a certain gift, and everybody has a I'll say it like this. Certain people do have the gift to amplify their voice. And the way they say certain things, it's presented, and all these folks just start to follow it. They flock follow. Okay. There comes a time where you have to have some real come to Jesus moments with yourself. And you say, all right, well, based off of what I just said, I probably should back off of this. And this is why I do what I do, right? At some point in the podcast world, probably back in 2021, 2022, something like that. And again, you got to have people around you to call you out on your BS. one of those people for me is Reggie. Reggie's one of them people for me. He's like, yeah, saw the pod. This is when I was doing stuff with Sean. And I love those pods. This is the thing. Although I said certain things on that pod, a lot of the stuff I believe in it wholeheartedly. A lot of stuff I said on that pod, I believe in it wholeheartedly. But there comes a certain amount of responsibility with building a platform. There's a certain responsibility that comes along. So Reg was like, "Yeah, man, I think you might be veering off of the, the plan for the network." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And this is the thing. This is why I'm using me and Charlie Kirk kind of as a example. I knew that it was time to pivot. Now the pivot it's a slow grind. The pivot is a super slow grind because guess what? Whenever you have a black man have certain beliefs that might seem conservative, well, guess what? It's a certain group of people that's going to always come to that pod. And they're going to eat that content. They're going to eat that content. And as soon as they eat that content, they're going to share it with their people. And they're going to bring some more people. And that's building the numbers is not necessarily the goal when you're trying to be effective. The numbers are going to come with being effective. But I think what should have happened, and that, of course, it's too late now, but as soon as Charlie Kirk started to, I think after he crossed 500,000 followers, or after he crossed 1 million followers, it was time for him to start making a pivot. Your messaging can put you in a casket. Honestly, we are at that point where your messaging can put you in a casket. Reggie said, I learned Charlie Kirk from Candace Owens, but he helped put on. Exactly. My mom used to say, you can't control your actions, but you can control your and see this. Okay. I wish Mr. Make It Home. We need to figure out the day you come over to the pod. We need you to come through. Everybody say, yeah, Mr. Make It Home, come home. No, don't come home, because that sounds crazy. That sounds wild. All of my Diddy moments, I'll be like, nah. What another man look like telling the man to come home? Nah, dog. I am a man, Damon. All right. Anyway, I'll still say R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I think he did his job. Everybody's put on earth to do something. I don't think that the way he passed was anyway. I ain't because I'm gonna start putting that tinfoil hat on. Now, this is not the place for that. But anyway, I just dropped the project, y'all. I said I was gonna wait to the end to talk about this because I'm excited. This is not the normal project just for everybody to just go download. This ain't that type of project. So this is what I'm doing. And I don't know what everybody else doing, but this is what I'm doing. So I dropped the instrumental project. The instrumental project consists of some of the songs that kind of went semi-viral. I don't think I've ever had anything to go viral, but I don't chase it. So whatever. But a lot of the songs that people said that they liked from my IG, from YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, all that stuff. I put some of those songs on this album along with some more of the sauce that's in my soul music world, right? And what I did, I released it on Patreon. Y'all can download it on Patreon for $1, or you could just join one of the tiers. You could join the $1 tier. Join the $1 tier and be a part of the community. But what I'm doing with this is, I want musicians, preferably singers, rappers, spoken word artists, whatever you do. I want y'all to download the album, and you pick certain songs or pick a song and record your verse to it. Record your verse, record your hook, record whatever to it. Then in return, I'm going to use all of my Patreon community as A&Rs. That's dope, right? That's dope. So if you're a part of my Patreon, then you'll be seeing some of these studio sessions that I'm having with the artists that record songs. Because what I do, I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to music. So the way I do certain things is once you record the verse, if we like the verse and consensus say, yo, sis over in Texas is dope. We need to get her on the pod. We need to get her to record on. Now that's her song. I'm sure we're going to have some of those come up. When we have that, I'm either going to book a flight for them to come to Georgia, or we're going to do a virtual session or something. Whatever we do, I'm going to make sure we document the whole process. And I just want the community, the Patreon community, to just enjoy the album and be a part of the project. And then this is just phase one. This is just phase one. I got phase one all the way up to phase 6. Something else that we're going to be working on for 2026. Shouts out to 2026. That's coming up very soon. But something else we're working on in 2026 is the Lucrative Music Festival. I talked about it this year. I had too many moving parts, so we couldn't get it done this year. But we will be bringing it in 2026. So everybody that's a part of, because this is only the first album. I got more albums coming. This one is preferably this is mainly around soul music. I'm gonna also do I'm gonna do a country album, and I ain't gonna give you all that's false, but I'm gonna do multiple albums, and everybody that's a part of these songs is gonna be on the festival ticket. Everybody that ends up being on the album songs is gonna be a part of the festival ticket. In return, I'm gonna give them all of the sauce. All the sauce. They're just going to get the promo and everything. And this is another thing. This is another thing I have to mention, because it's not just an album. I had to do something where I felt like I could contribute to an artist. I think most of the time we do stuff because it's us and we want to get our creative vibes out. That's not enough. My life's goal, and I've said this 1,000 times. My life's goal 1,000 times. I want to get a million musicians to make $1 million. 1 million musicians to make $1 million. That is the dream. The only way I could do that is if I collaborate with other musicians and bring them in and show them, like, this is how you do publishing. This is how you do your writer's credit. This is how I have to teach them stuff. If they don't know it, you got to teach it to them. So I'm using this project as my first offering to the independent artists to come be a part of what I got going on, right? Let me read the chat for a second. Mr. Fantastic, what up? Yeah. Me and Mr. I'm going to cook something up. We got to cook something up. I just got to get the time. We got to find the time, for real. USA, Donnie says, do I have to be a part of the Patreon to get it? So you can either join one of the tiers on Patreon. If you join the tier on Patreon, it's just $1. And I did this on purpose. I ain't gonna front. I did all of this on purpose because I don't like for people to just be fly by night, right? I want to build a real community. That's the whole goal. I want everybody to build their own resources and then have we got Tatiana over in Alabama. She has her own label. She got her own podcast. She got her own group of people. I want people to say, okay, look, we need to build out a tour. I want to do a tour, and every city, I want somebody in a lucrative community to be in every city and say, all right, well, if we go to Alabama, we got to make sure we go hit Tatiana up and Off the Road Podcast. And once we go over there, we're going to book a show. We're going to have them do the pod. They're going to do all of the content. Then when we come to Atlanta, we're going to come holler at Mag. And then we go to Arizona, we're going to go holler at Goliath. We go to Texas, we're going to go holler at Trey. Like, that's the type of community I'm building. Right, so if you do, and I'm going back to the album, this is the question for USDA 1. US Don, my bad. The letters are so small. If you join the Patreon, it's $1 for the month. You could just cancel the membership if you want to, and I'm not trying to get you to cancel the membership. You're gonna get my podcast name. Tell me how the name of the podcast. What did I say? Off the road. What is it? Is it off the road? What did I say? Off the map. Correct me. I want to make sure I say it right. But what I'm doing, you join the Patreon. It could be $1. You join for $1, all right? Or you could just download that. Say you don't want to be a part of my community. All right, cool. You could download the joint for $4.99. You could download it for $4.99 and don't be a part of the community. That's fine. But the process this is just one part of the album. This is the first phase of the album. When people start sending the verses and I start doing the lives with the folk, and then we start building songs, and then even the way the album is right now, I'm going to arrange it and do more musical stuff and bring out more instrumentation, put my live drums, put the live organ. It's going to be way bigger than what it is right now. So I just want people to be a part of the journey. That's my whole objective. I want people to be a part of the journey, be a part of the community. Hopefully I can add some type of value and just help folk. Off the Road podcast. My bad, Tatiana. Off the Road podcast. So y'all go to Alabama, go holler at them, do Off the Road podcast. We gonna get Reggie off the record. The letters are so small. Thank you for putting it all caps. Off the Record podcast. Off the Record podcast in Alabama. All right, Off the Record. I think it's time for another prescription. It's time for another one. But yeah, and then we gonna get Reg. Then we gonna get Reg to get us some real estate, and we gonna buy some venues. That's all. See, we got phases. We got phases over here. We got phases. But anyway, please make sure y'all join the Patreon. We're gonna have a lot of fun stuff coming up, and I'll see y'all next week. All right, peace.